Rick Mercer is talking to Americans.
We found it quite fascinating the way that you guys held an election, and there was confusion about who voted for who, especially here in the state of Florida. And we're wondering if there's any discussion of adapting a Canadian system, like a prop style of voting. So it's the pine cone bark system, and if you're voting for the guy who's in power, you put a pine cone in the box. And if you're voting for the guy who's not in power, you put a piece of birch bark in the box. And that way there's no confusion.
I don't know, I think it sounds better than what we were doing.
Would you like the birch bark pine cone system? I mean, it's simple.
If that's the easiest thing to do, why not?
You know, like all those pictures of people examining the vote to determine, well, you don't have to examine a pine cone and a birch bark.
I agree.
It might sound odd, but there's no confusion whatsoever who you're voting for.
I think it's got merit to that. We can do that here.
In 30 years of democracy, we haven't had a single recount.
Actually, you know, it couldn't be any worse than Chads and Dimples and...
Yeah, there's none of that. There's no Chads, there's no Dimples, there's no punch cards.
Probably more ecologically sound.
I mean, the only problem we have in Canada is that after, like, say, 1,000 people have voted, that's very heavy. You know, you get 150 pine cones, where's a couple of kilometers.
I'm sure we can deal with that.
In Canada, because of the separatist movement, the French separatist movement in Canada, we've decided to allow Irish Canadians to vote. Do you think that's a good idea?
Of course.
Congratulations, Canada, for allowing the Irish to vote.
Well, they're not allowed to vote as it stands right now in Quebec because of, you know, it's Quebec and they're a very different place.
Congratulations, Canada, for allowing the Irish to vote.